And what about the grades in French? You got them? You have them? Do you have them?
Yes, I have them because Professor Marian has given me that. And that's it. The one that, well, I'm listening to kind of noise over there.
Can I shut up?
Yes, that's
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Somebody was talking about a computer. Well, anyway, anyhow.
computers.
Okay, sounds good. So, I was checking some things related to number one, the essay that you made in groups, and it was good. I have to, I have to say that. Yeah, you did a very good job. Well, some of you don't know still how to create an argumentative essay. Some of you do. Sounds good. But most of all, an argumentative essay is not a concept essay or a definition essay. They are different, right? So, as a way of advice, try to revise once again what an argumentative essay is. It's not something like give me the definition. No, well, yeah, give me the definition, but talk about the author. But at the same time, give me your perception about that definition, right? And how useful it is going to be. Okay. So in that way, I would like you to give me a second. In that way, what? Oh yeah, I'm going to continue with the second part. That was what's this? The first activity you had to do for the error analysis part, the first part. I checked them all. It was good, but please, 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 please. When you're going to do that kind of analysis, you should show something, the whole text, right? And because you were saying something like a line one, this mistake, and there was no text. So I said something like, which was the text? And how am I going to see the mistake from, I don't know, 60 different essays, right? So I was kind of lost. But taking in consideration that most of you were using maybe the same corpuses, well, I could understand what they were doing. But next time, do it in that way. Okay. Okay, that was that. And the exam, it was good. Remember, it was 7 minutes only. 7. Well, some of you said like, Professor, what happens if I'm going to be, if I have a record in about 8 minutes? And I said something like, yes, it was good, or it could be okay. So yes, 8 minutes was okay, but 12 minutes wasn't that okay. I saw one about 12 minutes, and no, not okay at all, right? Well, tonight I'm going to give you the grades, the ones from Professor Marianne and the ones from myself, okay? But today we're going to continue with something else. We're going to continue with the topics, and I'm going to explain them. I'm going to give you the documents via Edmodo. I'm going to open another Google Drive folder, I think. And over there, I'm going to start adding all the material that we're going to see today, okay? Okay, moving on, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, we're here, okay? Nice and shiny. Okay, no more WhatsApp from here. Okay, so we're going to start with, yeah, all of these things that we're going to see today, plus 3 documents in PDF, plus 1 document in Word, in Microsoft Word. All right, but let's start with this. Okay. Last time we were talking about some little issues about, give me a second. I don't like the way it is presented. Yeah, anyway. Okay, last time we were talking about some little issues about what to take into account for correcting, right? So in the exam and in the previous activity, um, in the exam and the previous activity, I told you to create this kind of correction or this kind of feedback, taking into account your own perspective, your own point of view, your own, what is this, experience. But in this case, we're not going to take into account that. Now we're going to see what could be the corrective feedback, right? In this case, the oral part, taking into account information from Lister, Saito, and Sato in 2013, 7 years ago. And well, let's continue with this. Okay, so in this case, we're going to see what is corrective feedback, what is the purpose, what are the types of feedback, and what is the effect on the learners, and also some theories related to that. Later on, talking about theories, we're going to see some aspects about crashing, and I'm going to share information about crashing, Stephen crashing, right? About input plus one, and 5 more theories about that, okay? Okay, so what is going to be just the corrective feedback right here? What is going to be focused, or what is going to be the focus inside the second language growth, right? You know what's the meaning for this word, growth, right? This one?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so in this case, we're going to say, for example, when, what, and how to correct. So we're going to take into account this. So we're going to find right here 3 different scenarios, right? And let's try to analyze it, okay? So the first one says, teacher, am I more worse student in class? Then we say, you are more worse. Then we're going to cross the word more, and then you are the worst. And then we say, I promise I will be more better tomorrow. I don't know if you're laughing or not. Well, that's the bad part of this kind of interaction in classes. But, well, what is the issue right here? What is the point? What can you infer about this? I'm listening to you.
The student didn't correct his mistakes, his errors.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sounds nice. What else? Give me a moment. I need to stop this. I'm going to share it again. No. Oh, yes. Yeah, once again. So we have right here one error, right? Or a mistake. What could be this? Is this error or mistake?
No, I think it is error because the student is repeating in 2 cases.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. So teacher, am I more worse student in class? So what could be the possible problem right here?
Mm,
Mm, Gaps in the superlatives and comparatives could be.
Very good.
Adding necessary information.
Excellent. So when we see this, for example, oops, this is too big. Okay. So when we see this, what kind of adjective are we working with? So we say
Imperatives.
worse. So what?
Irregular adjectives.
Very good. Yeah,
Ah, okay,
irregular,
okay, okay.
irregular. So let's remember something that, how can I say this? So the first adjective that we're going to use right here is going to be
Bad.
yes. And then if we're going to increase the part here, so we're going to use worse, right? And then if we're going to add it again, so what we're going to use? The worst, right? So let's remember the
Mm-hmm.
rules about comparatives and superlatives right here. Okay, so Leonardo said that this is an error because it continues going again and again. Why?
Now I get into the class.
What
Can
about
you hear
this?
me?
Damn it. Once again, what about this? Be more better.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still persisting in the error, right? So we don't know how to use bad
That's
with
overgeneralization.
very good.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Some technical problems.
Not to worry.
To mute your.
So here, so we have this part. Once again, let's remember that these adjectives, the one related to bad and the one related to good,
Mhm.
are going to be related to irregular adjectives, right? So in
Mm-hmm.
this case, we're not going to say something like more worse, right? So we can say uh, more intelligent, right? We can say more expensive. But in the case that we're going to use short adjectives, we're going to say cheaper or lesser or I don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, it's going to be like that. Now, how to correct that? How to make this correction in a very good way, right? So let's take into account that we're going to use 6 steps of corrective feedback, right? Based on Lister and Ranta 1997, which is going to be just related to number 1, reformulations, and number 2, prompts. What can you understand related to reformulation and what can you understand about prompt? Yes, I know you don't know the theory, but I need to work with what you know. So what could be
Uh,
that?
I can say that reformulation can be possible solutions or possible words that can be in the sentences, or
Yes,
maybe I think.
yes. And what could be the meaning for prompts?
I don't know.
You don't know. What could be prompts?
Suggestions.
Maybe a kind of a stimulus.
Very good. What else? What could be that prompt?
Advisors.
Very good. So right here are going to be entries, right? So you're going to tell the student what to follow, what to say, what to think, right? So the reformulation, we have 2 ideas right here. The first one is going to be recasters, and the second one is going to be explicit correction, right? So the recasters is going to be something like showing the whole thing at a very good way, like we were like the example in the previous slide, right? Or the explicit correction in which you're going to say, no, don't do it this way, do it this way, right? So for
Mhm.
example, once again, I'm going to use my typical example. Let's say black bottle, right? But I'm going to say something like, I'm going to look for the bottle black. And then you're going to say, okay, recast. We're going to use some examples, right? So like what? So pink, I don't know, pink rubber, I don't know, red tie, black shirt, right? So in that way, you're going to use this kind of recast, okay? And the explicit correction is when you're going to say, no, the rule says that the adjectives are going to be first and then the noun next, right? And sorry. Okay. So we're going to use the recast, right? So like the red distribution. Sorry, red distribution, right? So we're going to show more examples to the students for them to follow our ideas. For the prompts, we have elicitation, repetition, clarification requests, and meta-linguistic clues. What is the meaning for elicitation? What do you understand about elicitation? What could be that?
I have listened about eliciting, but I don't know what is elicitation or eliciting. I remember eliciting, but I don't know what is that type of.
What I'm doing right now is a very good example of elicitation. I'm asking you to try to give me some ideas or give me some answers related to what that word means. So elicitation in this case is going to be something like extracting, right? So I'm going to ask continuous questions for you to say something like, okay, now I understand what I'm doing just because I have been asked, and due to those answers that I'm giving, I'm going to learn. So in this case, this elicitation is going to have a kind of relationship to the Socratic method, right? In which we use
Yeah,
the moieutic, right?
mayeutica.
Very good. So we're going to use the moietics in order for us to let the student know or let the student to get the knowledge by asking questions and letting the student gather or decipher the whole word just because of those questions, right?
Right.
Repetition, well, we all know what repetition is. So you're going to do the exact thing in a right way over and over and over and over, and guess what? Over again. Clarification requests is what you usually do, right? So for example, you ask a question, you say something like, so sorry teacher, I don't understand, I do not comprehend what you're talking about. And then we're going to do the same, we're going to clarify it once again. And the meta-linguistic clues. What is meta-linguistics?
Mm.
Guys, girls.
Yes.
When the professor poses some questions or
That maybe could be metalinguistics is actually related to language behavior.
Mm-hmm. What else?
um, some comments or I don't know, information related to the students' uterance. So I don't know all this.
Interaction. Yeah, sounds good. So the metalinguistic cues are going to raise the metalinguistic awareness. What is that? Yes, we're going to use this kind of terminology, right? And we're going to get to know that terminology just because of the direct and indirect use of it, right? In which we're going to create questions, we're going to make comments, we're going to look for any strategy for us to use this information and this information to be directed to the student and for that information to be transformed into knowledge. Yeah, I'm kind of excited talking about this topic. I really like this topic.
Teacher, I'm sorry, but I don't understand about metalinguistic clues.
Okay, so once again, the metalinguistic clues right here is going to be just the information you can provide to students for them to understand in different ways. Therefore, you're going to use different strategies for the students to understand what they do not know, right? Example, I'm going to use elicitation, but I'm going to use very good questions. Example, okay, so you're saying cat black. Sounds good. Now, what was the last issue with we saw related to the theory about the place of adjectives and nouns in Spanish and in English? And then the student is going to say, let's suppose it's going to say, well, in Spanish, it's going to be first the noun and then the adjective. Now we're using the theory right here. Those are going to be the clues, right? And then in English, oh, first the adjective and then the noun. So no, I have to do an inversion, right? So in that case, it works. Now, information, comments. No, it's not cat black. As we saw in the last example, we were talking about some comic books in which Superman was talking about the differences between the red sun and the yellow sun. That is the one that we have right here in our galaxy. So we're going to use these examples, right, for the students to be aware about the real use of these structures. Am I clear or no? You think so?
Yes.
Teacher, it
Yes.
could be related with cultural behaviors, maybe?
No. It's not going to be cultural behavior. No, it's not going to be that. I have it right here. So, for example, what are going to be meta-linguistic clues? And I'm going to read it from, I have it right here. So it says, without providing the correct form, the teacher poses questions or provides comments of information related to the formation of the student's utterance, right? So as I was saying, right, once again, so I'm going to use another example in a wrong way. Something that I saw. This one. Homero and Bart, right? I think that was a very common mistake you saw all over that I saw all over the documents, right? So let's say, for example, what? Got it. Homero and Bart, and the other one was Teacher Skinner, and the other one was, I forgot. Well, anyway, so let's say, primary school of Springfield. So if I'm going to use the meta-linguistic clues for me to do this kind of corrective feedback, I'm not going to say something like, well, as you said over there, well, I'm going to say this. As you said over there, Homero and Bart were doing this, and these activities. However, Homer, and I'm going to do this kind of focus about the word stress. So I'm going to say Homer and no Homero, Homer, and not saying that like it is Homer and not Homero, right? No. So we're going to do it in a very inductive way. Sorry, deductive way. So for the students to understand in a very indirect way what they're going to correct, right? So once again, then the other example, I'm going to say, well, as you wrote over there, the primary school of Springfield is located at an unknown location. But if you count what the Springfield Elementary School or the Springfield Elementary building is set, we all know that it has at least 3 floors. So over there I have used the correct form, Springfield Elementary School, right? Now, the other one that I saw, rabbit foot. Well, actually, it's not rabbit foot. Remember that this possessive is not going to be done it's not going to be used with animals or objects. Well, in some extreme cases, in some specific cases, but generally talking, no. So we're going to say well, as you have talked about the rabbit's foot, like the monkey paw, we're going to take into account some other things. Number one, that Milhouse was talking about that this rabbit foot is going to give him somehow, somewhat of some kind of good luck, right? So those are going to be the meta-linguistic clues. You're going to lead the students with information related to the formation of this knowledge in an indirect way. You're not going to tell the students, okay, it's not rabbit's foot, it's rabbit foot. No, you're not going to say that. Not directly, but indirectly. So those are the meta-linguistic clues. You get it?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
A bit, yeah.
More clear? More clear. Clearer?
Yeah. More or less.
More or less. Okay. Yeah, I had a mistake. More clear. Damn it. Clearer. Anyway. So those are going to be the meta-linguistic clues. I'm going to share the information about this corrective feedback, types of corrective feedback, to the WhatsApp group. I'm doing it right now for you to download it. What is this? Applied linguistics. Okay, done. It's a PDF that is loading over there. And that's all. And already uploaded. Okay, now, which are going to be the types of corrective feedback? Based on Shin and Ellis, we're going to talk about implicit and explicit. Now, once again, so what is going to be implicit? The reformulation and the prompts. What the student is not going to see in a direct way. What is explicit? The reformulations and prompts, what they are going to see. Example. Let's see these examples right here. Okay, so implicit. So we have, as a reformulation, conversational recasters, right? So we're going to do the conversation, and for more, or even the student is talking in a wrong way, you're going to keep on doing the focus on the right way to use the language, right? So meaning that you're going to hit, you're going to hit the student in what is this? You're going to hit him with your mind, let's say that, in a very cognitive way, right? You're going to contradict him for him to be convinced on the right way for us to use the language, right? Now, the prompts of the repetition. So you're going to repeat the structure over and over and over again, but not saying that the error is going to be there. So for example, once again, cat black. Now, so you're going to use yellow sun, full moon, black moon, red moon, right? So over there, you're going to see that in an implicit way, you're going to see how these elements are going to be used in a right way. Now, explicit. So didactic recasters. So what is that? You're going to use materials related to the theory, the whole explanation about it, right? So you're going to use this strategy in a very pedagogical way, right? So once again, we have explicit correction with or without meta-linguistic explanation, right? But it's going to be explicit correction. Okay, don't do it in this way. Don't say cat black, say black cat. Why? Because we're going to take into account that in English, we're going to use this kind of what? Of elements or of structures in its natural form. Then once again, the prompts, the meta-linguistic clues, but explicit, right? And some elicitations by asking some questions, right? So for example, hey, how do you say una pesada mochila? How do you say that?
Heavy bag.
Very good, a heavy backpack, right? So it's going to be like that. So that's it. And we have paralinguistic signals. What do you understand about paralinguistic signals?
Paralinguistics. No clue.
No clues? Okay. No clues? No ideas?
Nope. Nope.
No ideas at all? Okay. So for once again?
Like body language.
Very
Yes.
good. That's it.
Non-verbal.
Paralinguistic signals. No verbal no verbal communication. So in which you're going to use gestures, facial expressions, tones, the pitch of the voice, right? Those are going to be paralinguistic expressions, signals. So for example, in Colombia, we have a very good paralinguistic signal example, the M sound, right? So for example, your name is Daniel. Mm-hmm. Are you a musician? Are a music teacher? Mm-mm. So those are going to be the paralinguistic signals, right? And that's all. Okay. Okay. Well, let's ask. I'm going to ask you these questions, and then you're going to try to understand, or you're going to try to give me some answers to it. So here, the first one, it says, as a student learning your second language, what type of corrective feedback do you prefer, or did you prefer? Number two would be, would you correct your students in the same way? And if so, why? And number three, what type of feedback do you find yourself giving the most and why? Guys, I'm going to give you this 3 minutes, right? Because I'm going to change the classroom, because 40 minutes are going to be done, and I need to create another um, another chat room, right? Okay, teacher, net, some students, some stable, they can understand, not to worry. I'm going to try to what? I'm going to try to fix this. Well, are you listening to me right now, or is it difficult to be listened? Okay, for some of you are difficult. Okay, not to worry. It's still, I'm recording this, and I have to upload this information. Yes, I'm going to share the recording tonight. I have to share lots of recordings, right? Guys, so let's say this. In 2 minutes, I'll be back. I'm going to give you 2 minutes for you to think of these questions, right? And I'm going to copy and paste it here. Right? And you're going to give me your answers when we come back, okay? So see you in 2 minutes. I'm going to create another chat room, so I'm going to end this minute.